Clappington! Where the devil are you? Mrs. Clappington! Is everyone deaf in this mortuary? Mrs. Clappington! Come out here if I don't see you for making me straighten your pipes.
Go on now, Mr. Flannery, you've been told not to do that.
Mrs. Clappington, come out here, you donkey of a woman, you!
Go. You've got to put it in this oven, you old tea, before you find yourself in bedlam.
And happy I'd be amongst me own kind. Mog, can you ever start a sentence without saying the word gaw?
I don't know, I've never tried.
Put your mind to it, Darrell. Sounds like you're about to call pigs every time you open your mouth.
Go! I can take your screaming, but I won't listen to be on no irreverential like.
You daft little tart, tis you spark the name of the Almighty like you was calling livestock. Just from your own mind now, how did you ever get the name Mog?
Well, me old man liked the name of Maud, and me mom liked the name of Margaret. You know, with royalty and all. Anyway, come up Mog.
Tis worse than the original sin you stuck with. Mrs. Clappington! Mrs. Clappington!
It's all right, Mom. You can finish clearing away the rest of the breakfast table.
Yes, Mom.
So here you are, you Mrs. Skinflint of a tavern keeper, you.
I've told you time and again not to yell like that, Mr. Flannery.
Not yell, is it? Would you have the goodness to tell me what that is?
It's your morning tea.
Is it now?
Is there something wrong with your tea?
When I have the taste for the muck at the bottom of the dishpan, I'll call for it. But until then, I'll have me tea hot and strong. Same as I've always had it, and same as I'll have it till the day I die.
I'll convey your comments to the kitchen.
Do that! And while you're at it, tell Mog, the pig caller, it better be to my liking, or the first guest I see out on this fine terrace will get a fine mouthful right between his shocked eyeballs.
Speaking of guests, I'm sure you'll be interested to know. We have 3 new ones.
Is that a fact now?
They registered last night. A Mr. and Mrs. Morrison, newlyweds from Liverpool, and a Mrs. Pringle from the United States.
All the way from America?
Yes. And I shall have to ask you to restrain yourself in any pranks you have in mind. Mrs. Pringle has come here for her health. She appears to be a sick woman. We must try to make her stay pleasant and quiet. Especially quiet.
And me, the church mouse that I am.
Just remember, no pranks or noise, or out you go, back to the rest home.
And you'll have the devil of a time getting me back there.
The decision rests with you.
Good behavior, is it? I'll be as decent to them as they are to me.
Then I'm sure we'll have no difficulty. And I'll have to ask you to be more careful with your language. It's quite all right for the regulars. They're used to it. But we mustn't take the chance of offending the newcomers, must we?
Faith, and she's talking to me in the plural. How did it get to be we all of a sudden?
Do we quite understand each other?
Quite, you ladyship.
Good. I'll tell Mog to bring your tea.
Thank you kindly. Seeing how it's about lost me taste for it.
Have a good morning of sun now.
Have a good morning of sun now. Sniveling old she-goat of a Shylock and miser.
You must have started early today. Already up to the S's. Let me know when you get to the W's. You're doing very well. It's only 10 o'clock. Good morning, Mr. Morrison.
Good morning. Is it all right, Mr. Flannery?
It does look so wonderful.
Aye, it'll be all right till 12. Then you must come out for at least an hour.
Thank you.
Mind yourselves, I'll have your nose splash and out you come.
Very well.
Good morning. Good morning.
Was it me you're speaking to?
Well, yes, I suppose it was.
Well, good morning to ya, and that's that.
Good morning.
How good can it be? You said it 3 times already.
So I have. Look here, old boy. I don't believe we've met.
And I think this ain't small favors.
I say, have I done something to offend you? It's a quite jolly day, and all the terrace and the ocean, they can make one feel quite friendly.
Your tea.
Go, I've been thinking it for nothing. Seeing how it's about past the hour and seeing how I've about lost my taste for it, it's about time for me supper.
Oh, the things he gets to saying. Don't you mind him none, sir. He's a loony, he is.
Come within reach of me stick and I'll give you a little respect on that stern of yours.
He's harmless, though. Don't you mind him none.
I say, is he always like this?
I say. And you think he's Winston himself, and from Liverpool. Ha!
Oh, sometimes he's worse. Especially when someone gets up in the air about his ocean.
His ocean.
Coy thinks he owns it.
Owns the ocean.
Every bloomin' drop.
Oh, really, I say.
And what's wrong with owning the ocean?
We can't honestly believe that.
And why not? Who's got a better claim to it than me? Who's sailed her since I was old enough to sit a privy myself?
See? All the things his mouth will say.
Did you see those two children ask me for permission to use her?
Why, I suppose I did, yes.
Oh, it's a game they plays in the air. They ask him if he can go in, and he grants permission.
A game, she calls it. And why the devil take ya? Shouldn't they ask for permission from the owner?
Well, I never seen you refuse him once.
Refuse anyone the pleasure of me ocean? Little tart's gone daft. Ah! Cold! You blasted Joe Waggers made me tea run cold!
Well, how can you prove it's really your ocean if you never refuse someone a use of it every once in a while?
They ask me, don't they?
I?
Well, the very act of asking implies I must have a choice in the matter. And if I have a choice in the matter, I must be the one with the say-so. And if I have the say-so, I must be the owner. So shut your yap and get back to the kitchen, you filthy heathen. Saints protecting us, denying us God's very own for the likes of proof.
He's the devil's own brain when it comes to reasoning.
Hello there, you blasted ingrates. I told you no splashing. You're soaking her all up, you dirty sponges.
I say, they're really coming out.
I think you're not to be addressing any mere remarks in this direction. If you want to use the ocean, I'll give you permission beforehand, so not to be plagued to hear your diarrhea anymore. I've done.
Well,
And I've still the breakfast things to do.
Good morning, Nat.
good morning, Dove. Sit here and I'll call for something for you.
No, thank you. I had something before coming down already.
As you say, Dove.
It's really quite lovely here.
Quite.
Did you have something?
Oh, heavens, yes, I had an enormous breakfast. Are you quite comfortable, Dove?
Yes.
Oh, listen, Kate, about last night.
I'd rather not talk about it.
Kate, Dove.
Please.
I'm sure if we keep our voices down, you won't awaken.
Regardless, I'm sure I have nothing to say to you.
Well, you could at least listen to my side of it. After all, I am your husband.
Not for long.
What are you saying?
I'm going to divorce you, Nat.
Divorce? We've only been married 20 hours.
22 long.
I don't understand.
Oh, how I hate you! I've never been so ashamed before in my life!
Please, will you just let me?
You're a beast, a crude and ugly beast!
What did I do that was so wrong?
If you can't remember the atrocity that you committed last night, I shall not bring myself to recount it!
Well, that's keen. Like, keen. You won't tell me and I can't remember.
I'm not used to commonness, Nat.
Oh, what in the blazes are you even talking about?
Don't raise your voice to me. I'm not your scullery maid!
I'm not raising my voice to you!
Yes, you are!
Now, Kate, listen, we're two adult people who can approach this with level heads and straight thinking. Was it anything I said or did before we arrived?
You know it wasn't. How could you?
Well, it happened after we got here. Got to know. Now just calm down, Dove. I'm going to try to reconstruct those hours.
My God, you've degraded me beyond belief. And now you want to play Sherlock Holmes? I just won't have it!
Now let me see. We arrived at 8, and it wasn't anything in the lobby. Now surely I would have remembered if it would have been there. We followed the boy up to the room, and I tipped him 3 shillings.
2 shillings too much.
Don't interrupt me, Jeb. Leave me in the hang of it. Let's see. We put some discs on the gramophone. The champagne arrived, and I tipped the boy another 2 shillings.
Still too much.
Let's see. We opened the bottle of champagne. We drank some. Then I told you a couple of cute and funny stories. It was the stories!
No, no,
No?
no.
Oh. Well, let me see. drank some more. Then you went to the bathroom to change while I got into my PJs in the bedroom. You had on that wonderful little nightie and the perfume I was watching in London.
Lavender.
Yes, lavender.
And we finished the champagne and danced one last dance.
Oh yes, what was that?
The Blue Danube.
Ah, keen song, really keen. And we stood by the window, and I remember there was the lights and some breeze far off.
3 ships sailing slowly across the horizon.
And I took you in my arms and, well then what? I can't remember.
You belched! My God, you belched right in my face!
Hey, it was a champagne! Oh, it was a champagne.
In all me born days, I've never heard the likes of that old tete-a-tete.
You weren't asleep at all.
And how could I with a couple of buffoons yelling insults at each other at the top of their lungs?
Now you look here, this was a private affair.
You're the darndest bit of an idiot I've ever laid me eyes on.
Well really, she's going to divorce me.
Tis Blarney.
What?
A big lie.
But you heard her say.
Would you have the goodness to tell me something?
What?
Did she snuggle under the quilts after you belched?
I don't think that's any of your concern.
Did she snuggle, man?
Well, as a matter of fact, she did.
Then you're an even bigger idiot than I gave her credit
Hey,
for
now
the
you look
first time.
here.
Shut your yap. Do you think anyone would be truly offended after would snuggle with you?
Well, no, but...
No, he says. I don't know why I'm wasting my time and good breath with such a dunce.
Oh dear, I'm confused.
All right. Now listen here. Go down and find her and tell her you've thought about it and agree a divorce is the best solution to your problem.
By Jove, man, I love her.
Tell her you're going to go get one of them skullduggery lawyers they've got in town here. And ask her to make a few notes of the nature of her complaint. And won't that be something? Please, Yana, I'd like a divorce from me husband because he belched in me face on me wedding night. Ha! They'll laugh her right out of the courtroom.
I say that's worth a try.
Women's blarney, I tell you.
Yeah.
Now out. You've ruined me tea and taken up the best part of me morning.
Well, really, I'd like to thank you.
Out!
There you are. I think you'll be quite comfortable here until lunch. Thank you. You're very kind. Not at all. Is there anything I can get you? A magazine, perhaps? No, I'll be all right. I have my book. Just ring the little bell now on the table.
That bell happens to be mine.
That bell happens to be the property of the hotel. Strange you should claim possession, Mr. Flannery, since I've never heard you use anything but that stick of yours when you've wanted something. I'm sure I won't need the bell. Thank you anyways, Mrs. Clappington. Well, if you do, don't let him intimidate you. Remember our bargain. And remember the rest home.
You tardy old tag rag.
10:20 and already up to the teas. It is going to be a good day. Mrs. Pringle, this is Mr. Flannery. How do you do?
As well as I can, with the likes of that to plague me.
I'll leave you both alone now.
Thanks for the wee favors. All right, I think it's time enough. You can go back in now.
They're lovely children.
That'll do.
Are they your grandchildren?
Do I look like the kind that'd be daft enough to marry?
It isn't always easy to tell.
Well, I may as well tell you, so you'll get used to it, and it'll save me a lot of silly blathering. It happens I own this here ocean, and I was just telling those children they could go back in. And now I know what you're gonna say. The whole ocean. And I'll tell you in advance. Yes, the whole ocean. Every wave, current, and fish. All mine. And how do you like that?
That's amazing.
And why should it be? Didn't Columbus claim the whole continent which you came from?
Yes, I suppose he did.
There's no supposing in it. He did. And Pizarro, Cortez, Byrd, Perry, how about the claiming those lads did? Every time they opened their yaps, they was claiming something. Well, I got mine before there wasn't anything left. Dirty grabbing thieves, I fixed them. The ocean's mine. And I plan to keep her till the day I die. Then I don't give her Tinker's damn who gets her.
You own a lovely piece of property.
She'll do. She'll do. You're the new one from America, is it?
Yes.
Well, welcome to Southshire Gardens, or better known to the regulars as Mrs. Clappington's Claptrap Barracks.
Thank you.
Pringle. That's an English name.
As a matter of fact, yes. My people were from Kensington.
Kensington, is it? And where might your family be?
Mr. Flannery, you've told me something about yourself. So, I feel I return the favor to save us both a lot of blather, as you call it. I'm a widow. My husband died 5 years ago. My family has long since gone from this earth. I have no children, and I've been staying with a friend in Derby for the past few months. I'm here because the doctor recommended the sea air for my health.
I didn't get your dander up.
I don't have my dander up. I just came out here
You blasted ingrates! Put those shells back! Back, I said! Give 'em a finger, they take a hand. Give 'em a hand, they take the whole arm. You know, shell pick a day is Sunday.
They seem to mind you very well.
And why shouldn't they? Me with authority to kick 'em out any time I please. I told you 15 times this week. Sunday!
Mr. Flannery, when did you decide to own an ocean?
Oh. 'Twas many years ago. I got the idea while sailing through Barbados one day. And I got to thinking how the ocean felt about things. And you see, she really has no one.
But there's the men who sail her.
Bots transients, using her for her wages. Anyways, I figures I never had anyone neither. So if I lay claim to her, well, we'd both have someone. Oh, and it wouldn't be like some tourist who'd come down once or twice a year to pick shells and driftwood. No, I'd be here all the time. You see, most men take from her wages, fish, and the rest. But I'll none of it. That's what gives me the right of ownership. She belongs to me, and I belong to her. And she accepts that.
You're very fortunate.
Smart is the word. I'd not let them jip Jim Flannery out of his ocean. Did you know? Did you know? Did you know sometimes there's a breeze known as the spice wind? Ah, that it is, pulling itself out of the great hot Sahara and bringing the whole spice of the whole North Africa right to your nose. Moharam, quince, clove, curry, all, the whole lot of them.
I know.
And how could you, coming from America?
I was here for a weekend many years ago with my husband. Just after we were married. He was in England on business.
And you smelt the spice wind?
Yes. The both of us.
And now you've no one.
No one. Is that a goal, Mr. Flannery?
Aye.
Does it come with the rest of it?
Sure, and 'tis all apart. And where else do you expect to find goals?
They're so wide up there, above us all.
Aye. They's a life all right.
Do you ever wonder what they think of us?
I don't care what they think, as long as they don't be playing bombardier.
I don't think they treat the boss to any of that.
You've got to watch them. They're a tricky lot. Did you know the beaches of Africa are as white as milk?
I've never been.
Ah, 'tis a sight. White, clear down to the water. And the water blue-green and as clear as emeralds. You can lose your eyes to watch her like that.
As a little girl, I went to visit my grandfather once in a place called Santa Barbara in California. It was like that, except maybe the sand wasn't so white. I remember what great fun it was to run along the beach and pump the seaweed with my toes. At night, we'd walk the beach and phosphorus would jump at the waves like electric lights. Then a breaker would stretch itself as far as the eye could see, and there would be a great white electric necklace.
Aye. She can do that when she's a mind.
That was such a long time ago.
Everything is nowadays. Might I ask what the nature of your husband's business was?
If you don't mind, Mr. Flannery, I'd rather not talk about my late husband or relatives or belonging to anyone or anything like that.
You didn't get your kettle on. 'Tis the thanks I get for being civil.
I'm sorry. He sold sporting goods.
Is that a fact?
Yes.
Used to be a bit of a rugby player myself. Do you know the game?
Yes. It's something like our football, isn't it?
Like our football. Would you care for me to give you a little history on ye so-called football? The Irish invented the game of rugby, and then the Limeys stole the game from the Irish, having the decency not to change it. Then the Yanks stole the game from the Limeys, changing it all around like it was some big wrestling match, and stuck the name football on it like it was something original. And that's for your own edification.
I think you're wrong, Mr. Flannery. The game was adapted more from the American Indian game of lacrosse. My husband did some research on it for his company.
The American Indian? Glory be, now these ears have heard it all, telling me Indians invented the game of rugby.
That isn't what I said.
And what I'm saying is the Indians stole it from the Yanks, who stole it from the Limeys, who stole it from
It
Ireland.
can be proven, Mr. Flannery. You're wrong.
And I don't need anyone coming over here from the land of red, white, and baloney, telling me I'm wrong, then proving it to me.
There are reference works on the subject.
Thank you kindly, but I need a reference outside me own head. I'll cut me throat and wear a book on me neck.
Please, let's just change the subject.
Change the subject. The subject happens to be the Irish game of rugby. You hear me? Irish!
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Of all the ignorant traversities I've ever heard, the gall of the woman.
Do you mind if I use this?
Do as you please. The set has just stopped receiving. Change the subject indeed.
Yes, Mum?
Would you wheel my chair to the other side of the terrace?
Yes, Mum.
And would you bring me some coffee, Mom?
Yes, Mum.
Coffee drinker to boot. I might have known.
Is there anything wrong with drinking coffee, Mr. Flannery?
Not if you're the stomach for that sort of swill. 'Tis only the common beverage of the total uncivilized world. You can bring me my tea again, Maud.
There's a call for you from London, Mrs. Pringle. I'll will you.
Thank you.
And I'll want to speak with you later, Mrs. Flannery.
I'm not home. And now what the devil's she crying about?
God, you dirty old goat! What you been up to?
None at all. We was just passing the time of day.
You've got her in a fine state. You're a filthy, mean old man that plagues such a sweet woman's air, and her not so much about letting a peep about her croaking in 3 months.
What's that you say? Take that dang rag away from your mouth so I can hear you.
It's true, I tells ya. Sir Doctor, he called from London. Talked to Mrs. Clappington. Told that he was sending down a nurse for last month here, so as to be here when it happens. So as to take care of all the details, putting her away. Said he didn't want no hospital, but couldn't help her no ways.
Does she know?
She knowed it for a year.
So 'tis no secret.
It is to an arrested guest. I only told you because I see her off your tree and I likes her. You won't give it, I told you.
Shut your yap. What kind of Judas do you take me for?
God, blimey, don't torment the poor soul last days here.
I never told anyone of me born days. Is there anything wrong with the wee
A
chat?
chat and you calling it uncivilized.
I never called her
You
uncivil.
did. Don't tell me what I is and what I don't is.
Mog, dear tart, can you bring me that tea I asked for?
I will, if I hear sniffling just once more. I'm off to Mrs. Clapham to tell her what you've been up to. It's off to the rest of you. And good riddance here, moldy old Scrooge.
Don't be calling me any of your limey names. If you have the mind to insult me, I'll be having you using internationally accepted terms. Now give me my tea before I give you the shillelagh where your brains seem to be.
I'll never come that close, Jack. The kitchen girls told me about the neat little pinching games you play, you dirty old octopus.
Me tea! Me tea!
Remember what I told you.
Me tea!
Tea it is.
Curse you. Curse you, Jim Flannery, and that mouth of yours. Curse you!
Is there anything you need?
No, I'll be all right. Mog is bringing me some coffee.
Well, you have a lovely day. I trust nothing will happen to spoil it for you.
No, I don't think it will.
Just ring then.
Thank you. Were you speaking to me?
What?
You said something. I thought you were speaking to me.
No?
Oh. Look, Mr. Flannery, I'm terribly sorry for getting all upset. It was very silly of me. I'm sorry if I embarrassed you in any way.
Me? Embarrassed? I've never been embarrassed in my whole life.
Then, we're still friends?
If you like. Mrs. Pringle, 'tis about the coffee.
Yes?
I've heard it's drunk in Ireland as well, with a bit of reinforcement.
It's remarkable how the ocean can make you feel so alive. So very alive.
Aye, 'tis the movement of it, the constant power and movement, like a cradle in one's brain, rocking us back to the days of laughter.
You have a way of putting things very well, Mr. Flannery.
Mrs. Pringle, there's something I'd like to put to you, but before I do, I'll be telling you that I know.
Know what?
That you've only 3 months.
I see.
Maul gave me the word because I was treating her badly.
That's going to make things difficult.
And why should it?
I won't have your pity.
And who's talking about pity?
What else, Mr. Flannery? You've just met me. You don't have the slightest idea of who I am or what I'm like.
knowing, so we'll not be wasting time.
Do any of the others know?
What kind of blabbermouth do you take me for? Is it the truth you're afraid of?
No, Mr. Flannery. I think I accepted the truth quite a while ago.
Good then. I had to tell you I know so there wouldn't be any false pretenses when I made you my proposition.
What proposition?
Well, first off, you've no one.
We've
and
already been through this.
have the kindness not to interrupt me. Second, you've only 3 months or so before you'll be leaving this world. And by the looks of it, I'll be outlasting you.
It appears you will, Mr. Flannery.
So I'll be making you an offer.
What are you talking about?
By Jesus, woman, do you not understand? I'm offering you on the ocean.
What?
I have reasons of my own, and you can guarantee yourself they're selfish enough.
But why would you give her up at all?
I've told you, I have my reasons.
Thank you very much, Mr. Flannery. But I must refuse your offer.
And would you have the goodness to tell me why?
I have your reasons.
The fact is, I need a rest. 14 hours a day I'm down here, and she still calls me out to my slave. I think she could do with a woman's care for a while. I've been a bit hard on her this past year, especially during the storms. I've said a few things that were a bit nasty, and I think she could do with the rest for me as well. What do you say?
I don't know. I don't know anything about oceans.
Well, it wouldn't be like I wouldn't be around to help. Sure, and there's a lot you'd have to learn. Wind, tides, currents.
Would she really belong to me?
Every last crab and barnacle.
And I belong to her.
You'd have each other.
I don't know what to say.
Well, if it's a darned word please you're looking for, please, will you take her off my hands for 3 months?
I will, Mr. Flannery. I will.
Saints be praised. Now it's settled? Good then. Let me see. Hey there, lad, bring the last 2. Come over here. Now that you mentioned it, they are a good-looking couple of runts.
Yes, Mr. Flannery?
I have something to tell you, and I want you to tell those other runts that come here too.
Well, what is it?
This here is Mrs. Pringle.
How do you do?
Glad to meet you.
How do you do?
I've just taken liberty of transferring ownership.
Forever?
For the rest of her natural life.
I say?
From now on, she's boss. You'll be taking your orders from her, understand?
Yes.
As you say, Mr. Flannery.
And I want those other ruts that come here too, towing the line with those smart stuff going on.
We'll tell them all right. Is she the owner as of now?
Aye.
Can we go back in, Mrs. Pringle?
What time do you have lunch, children?
12. We've brought a basket.
20 minutes more, then you must come back out to eat. Let's go! I want you don't burn!
You handled that nobly.
Did I really?
Aye. And I'm not the one for compliments.
And the tea's hot enough to scorch your blooming tongue, if that's possible. Getting along, Ducky, now?
Is there no work for you in the cellar? Like in the coal bin, you meddle
I'm
little...
sure you'd enjoy coffee if you had it fixed Boston style, Mr. Flannery.
God, blimey! That's the first time I ever heard anyone stop in the middle of a sentence. Blimey.
No, nothing with bubbles from now on.
At least not before Betty by. Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
I say, it worked, old boy. Really keen of you, I mean, really.
What worked, Dove?
Oh, nothing important, I'll tell you later. It's...
Mr. Flannery, I'd like to speak with you
you in my office if you don't mind.
Oh, before you go, do you suppose the missus and I could take a dip after lunch?
You'd have to ask Mrs. Pringle here. I've just transferred ownership.
God, blimey, and that's 7 years!
Yeah, is that true, Mrs. Pringle? You're the new owner.
Yes, I suppose I am.
Well, then it's all right.
Yes, please do.
Thank you.
Nat, whatever are you talking
Oh,
about?
nothing. Come along. Let's
Nat!
meet.
Nat!
In your office to say, Mrs.
On second
Clappington.
thought, I think what I had to speak with you about has taken care of itself. Well, it looks as if we won't get to the W's today after all.
The day's still got a good few minutes left, Your Highness.
Mom, don't stand there. Get the luncheon plates out.
Yes, Mum. God, blimey, there'll be no limit now.
Now that you've taken over, you'll be needing this. Just bang it on the railing when you need anything, or you see anyone mistreating her out there.
Thank you.
Mrs. Pringle, now that you're on the ocean, is it all right that I may just retain the right to the beach? You know, just as a bit of comfort.
I think that would be all right.
Thank you.
Would you care for some coffee, Mr. Flannery?
I think I would. Would you care for a good cup of tea, Mrs. Pringle?
I think I will. Shall we?
To your health, Mrs. Pringle.
To the ocean, Mr. Flannery.
Aye, to her.